Hello to the week event. My name is Adrian. Nice to be today with us. To all the projects and the collaborators in the week event. It has been a long week and a long month to prepare the week event. So let's start with this, and let's start with Nino from APILLON. It's jumping in the call. How are you, Nino? Welcome to the stage. How are you?
Yo, yo. I'm
How are
good.
you?
The summer is here. We have been all around the places and amazing to be here. Very nice event, man. Cheers.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with us today. For sure, Appian is a great platform that is innovating into Web3 and into all blockchain world. So now you can be free to start sharing your screen. Our administrator will put it down here,
Sure.
and you can start sharing out what is happening for sure.
All right. Um,
Perfect. There we go. I think that here is it. Perfect. So thank you, Nino, for being with us. Now I'm going to disappear. So the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. All right. So I was thinking how to present what to say new about APILLON. A lot has been said already. Um, in all the events and online events that we have been around, we have talked, what we're doing, what we're integrating really close. So I have decided to be really concrete and go over a few slides where we are, showcasing our platform for anyone who is interested, because it shows the current state and what you can do immediately or what you can do today using APILLON and, of course, underlying services. So what you see in front of you right now is our dashboard. It's available on app.apillon.io. Anyone can create a free account, log in, and this is what you will see. Before creating any of those services and utilizing the underlying parachains, what you have to do is add a new project. This allows any user to have several projects and switch between them. You can also add multiple people to a project. So let's say you're working in a group. We also support this from the get-go. So this is essentially it. You can set up your, let's say, like user settings on the upper right corner, and then you also have project settings in the bottom left corner when you can get some specific details, and most importantly, generate the API keys. So, all right, now let's go into the services. So on the left side, you can see we have storage, hosting, and NFTs, and authentication and computing coming soon. What does this mean? Well, we can say all of these services are derived from parachains on Polkadot. So storage and hosting being derived from Crust and, of course, underlying IPFS storage. NFTs are derived from is a single flow, which allows you to deploy your own NFT collection, and it's derived from Crust for metadata storage, and then you can choose to deploy between Astar and Moonbeam. Authentication, which we are integrating very soon, is derived from Kilt, and computing from Phala. So if we look at the storage real close, you can see this is how it looks like. Any user who enters storage has to create a new storage bucket first before utilizing this storage. Now, we have created a UX with the buckets, which simulates the Amazon S3 or any modern cloud storage provider usually works with buckets. So you have a logic of creating several buckets and then separating them and putting specific files into one bucket, specific files into another. So creating a new bucket requires you to just give it a name, some description, and you immediately get 5 gigabytes of free storage. Once the bucket is created, you open it up by clicking on storage and selecting the bucket that was created, and you can immediately utilize upload feature, which means you can either drag and drop or proceed however you wish with the uploading the files. The secondary way of uploading the files is via API. Obviously, if you are building a Web3 clone of Google Drive or Dropbox or something like that, it would essentially mean that you need to connect from your mobile app with the help of API and start pulling the files up. So yeah, this is how storage works. We can also work with folders. And here I pointed out the images and the metadata folders, which we're going to look into a little bit closer later. All right, the secondary service also derived from Crust, as I said, is hosting. Essentially, this is storage on IPFS with help of Crust pinning, but we also support several stages. So as you can see, first you can upload the files and make sure that the files that compose of your website are successfully uploaded. Then you have a preview ability, which gives you ability to see how the website renders and if everything is okay before putting it to production. Now, the main difference between preview and production is that in the preview, we just display how this looks like on IPFS, but once you push it to production, we actually utilize Crust, we pin those files, we spend some money, and then it is in the Web3 storage. So once on production, you can say your website or your web app is decentralized and it's Web3. So once the files are, of course, on production, you get IPNS link. You can see the preview of your website here. You can use this link to share this website to anyone you like, or you can also, of course, connect your domain, where we will supply you with a free of charge SSL certificate. It's a Let's Encrypt certificate. It's very easy to set up your domain, and at that point, your website starts to exist on the web with the IPFS and Crust in the background. The third service we currently have is an interconnection of 3 different parachains. So what we are utilizing here is either Moonbeam or Astar, and of course storage. And the purpose here is to deploy your own NFT collection. Basically once you click on NFTs, the first question is prepare your NFT metadata. Now, why is this important? It's hugely important because if you're creating NFTs and the NFT metadata, so the data that describes which picture is or which file is part of this NFT and how the file is called, should be stored in a decentralized servers. For those of you who remember FTX, they had their all NFTs stored in their central servers, and as the whole fiasco unfolded, those servers were shut down. So any user that would buy NFTs from FTX now has completely empty NFTs, which lead to nowhere, which have no pictures, basically for links. So why is this step important? Because if you say, I do not have NFT metadata, we're going to take you, with a lot of help through this process, and we're going to utilize our own storage service to provide you with decentralized storage for your NFTs. So the first step is uploading metadata in a CSV file. This is quite obvious. So you have a CSV file. It's a huge spreadsheet of all the NFTs you have with all the data you have. You just select the file like I did here, and the file is immediately loaded, and the metadata attributes are detected. If you confirm those metadata attributes, you can review whether the CSV file was rendered correctly at this stage. You can also change the view into this spreadsheet view. As you can see, we now have smart contracts by Moonbeam and Astar logo up on the right corner. And here is the ability to switch between card and table view. So at this point, what we can do is scroll up and down and see whether all the images are correctly placed with their names, descriptions, and additional attributes. If this is okay, then we may proceed. So at this step, now we are all about the smart contract deployment, right? So we have to set specific name, we have to set specific symbol, we can change the chain that we're using to deploy. So we support Moonbeam testnet, mainnet, and Astar mainnet. Soon also Astar wasn't. Here we are talking, of course, about ERC-721, the most famous NFT collection deployment smart contract. After that, we can set total supply. For me, it was automatically detected on 113 of those warriors that you could see. Revocable, no. Soulbound, no. which both mean revocable, that I cannot ever revoke any of those NFTs. Soulbound also means that if it's at no, that whoever mints this NFT will be able to send it forward. Then we have royalties address. So if those NFTs get sold forward, you do get some royalties, and this is like set in 5%. Besides that, we can also do drop. So how much minting would cost and when the drop starts. And you can reserve some of those NFTs for yourself so you don't have to pay. This is the last step. This is the preview of how the NFTs will look like once in production. You can use Slider to walk over them and see if you are happy with the final result. And before deploying, you will get our typical W3 warn, which tells you beyond this point, there is no turning back. Once you click deploy NFT collection, this will go to blockchain and it will become immutable. So once all this is done, the smart contract is of course deployed and NFTs are there, but we need some sort of way to be able to mint them. So this does not mean that the collection is immediately shown on OpenSea or any other NFT marketplace. It is more intended for you to get a website that is able to connect to the smart contract and host this website and build it as you please. So here we have a case of me building a simple website for my imaginary Ghost Moon Warriors collection. Keep in mind, we do supply 3 different templates that immediately work with your configuration. We have Next.js, Vue.js, and also vanilla JavaScript, which you can just download from our GitHub and configure the website as you please. And of course, then use the hosting as I displayed before. So just pull the website into hosting like here. Drag and drop, and it will immediately connect to the NFT smart contract, and anyone will be able to mint it. So this is where we are currently at. Once the authentication service is enabled, you will also be able to build some logic into your, either a game or NFT collection, meaning users will have to sign up. Those who are signed up will see one option. Other users will see different option. And of course, with computing from Phala, you will get some additional logic by utilizing the FAT contracts from Phala. So both of these are coming really soon. We still have a few more parachains that we're looking at and also testing. So I think it will be very fun in the next few months from the release point. This is it from my side, how the demo, how the website, how the dashboard currently looks. I'm open for any questions if anyone might have.
So thank you so much, Nino, for this amazing introduction to the APILLON platform. At the end, we are we are builders in the APILLON platform. We host the coin reference website in IPFS with your platform, and we have to say that it's really smooth interface and a really amazing experience. So thank you. We have a question for you about building on Polkadot. You have a really good talk there about why building on Polkadot. And we want to launch you in these 5 minutes the question: why to build on Polkadot and not in other chains like, I don't know, Ethereum, Solana? What makes Polkadot special?
So Polkadot is showing more and more, in-depth vision and understanding on how blockchain or how Web3 should look like in the future. So if you would ask me this question like 6 months ago, I would have told you, Polkadot is technically very superior to other chains. We do understand how it works underlyingly. A lot of people who are skeptical and then take time and go, read about how it's constructed, about its architecture. Usually they change their opinion because they are fighting currently with the technology, on Ethereum, and it's really hard to achieve specific things or think about scaling in the context of Ethereum. So this is one part. The second part, which I always like to point out, is the governance part. And Polkadot's vision to put itself as a leader within Web3 backend providers or blockchains, however you would call it, because we have to believe that once you have a project like Polkadot who is fully focused on Web3, and then you have people on the other side in the governance, if both are aligned, then the choice will always be towards Web3. So these are my two arguments from before. And now on the recent event, Polkadot event in Copenhagen, that we had the ability to hear Gavin talk about the Polkadot's future, it's another beast. It's completely aligned with how we were selling APIs up until this point. It's completely aligned with how businesses usually approach backend services or any services or software as a service, where you have complete control on how much you spend, how much you pay. And this is the new direction of Polkadot. It's selling block space as a commodity, and everything else technically is completely irrelevant, because business will come and they will say, okay, we might need 1 or 10 or 20 blocks a day for our Web3 component, while everything else can still be in Web2, because it's it does not need specific trust. But each time we write some specific data or something like that, we do want to buy a block or two from Polkadot just to make sure this is on chain. And this is the logic we will be able to sell, or parity business development will be able to sell. And I think this is huge. This is completely different from what anyone else is doing. From context of Ethereum, etc., you are still competing with everyone else in the context of block space. You have no guarantees. You have no guarantees from price, no guarantees from time. While here you will be able also to manipulate with the block speed time, because you could mine in parallel. So buy a lot of block space and have each block technically in 2 seconds. We also know that at least 100% speed up is coming for Polkadot. We heard that on Summit, so block space will decrease severely. And I mean, I could go on and on, but it's
we are running out of time. So
yes,
thank you so much, for being with us today.
Cheers.
It was a pleasure, and see you see you in the week event 3.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thanks another time for being with us, Nino and APILLON team. It's a really amazing team and with a really amazing projects. And now we are going to jump into the social of Web3 and Polkadot. Welcome to the stage, Young Beef. How are you? How are you?
Hey.
How are you? Hello. How are
I'm
you?
pretty good. Thanks for having me.
It's the pleasure is totally us, and now you can start sharing your screen, and our team will display it on the event. Welcome to the States. It's a pleasure to have such a relevant influencer in Polkadot and Dotsama and SUBSOCIal team. So perfect.
Thank you.
There we go. Perfect. So, and I'm going to disappear. Thank you, and the stage is totally yours.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I'm Young Beef working with SUBSOCIal. I'm the content lead and community manager. If you're not familiar with SUBSOCIal, we're basically building social infrastructure for Web3 projects. We'll get into that a little more in a minute. But today I'm going to be talking about how we're unlocking Web2 level user experiences in Polkadot by using the technological power that Substrate provides us. So first, we already have a couple different apps built on SUBSOCIal. You may know Polkaverse is sort of our main one that's been live for a couple of years already. It's kind of a mashup between Reddit and Medium. We also have FriendTube in development by a community developer. It's basically like decentralized YouTube. Grill Chat is our most recent app that we released. We've had a lot of success with that. That's the one we're going to be talking about a lot today. It basically is a on-chain chat. It's totally decentralized, censorship resistant, and the user experience is even better than Web2, I would say. With Facebook or Twitter, you have to make an account first. Same thing with Discord, Telegram. With Grill Chat, you basically just open the website, send your first message, and you're good to go. So we'll get into that in a minute. So first, why are we building SUBSOCIal? Currently, SUBSOCIal social media in Web 2 has a lot of problems with it. Basically, all of these ultimately stem from the fact that we do not control our data or our content or our connections or anything like that. So if I tweet something, Twitter can just delete it. They can ban my account. I lose all of my tweets, all of my followers, everyone that I'm following. Everything is totally gone. And I also can't take it with me if I want to go to a different platform, because if I don't like Twitter, if they're doing something I don't like, I can leave, but I lose all of my stuff. So people don't really leave. So we don't really have any bargaining power as users to fight back against these harmful things such as algorithm manipulation, etc. So by allowing users to actually own their content and connections on chain, we're effectively solving all of these problems. So SUBSOCIAL gives powers back to the users. You own your identity and your assets and your connections. The social graph is open. So the social graph is basically your digital connections, your friends, your followers, your subscribers, etc. And by owning that, you can actually own your monetization stream. If we take, for example, a YouTuber, if they do that full time, they make their living by YouTubing. If YouTube decides to ban them one day, they don't really have any recourse, and now they have no way to earn any income. So people should be able to own their monetization methods. And of course, content censorship resistance is a big thing. We see that a lot with modern social media. There are still moderation, which is different than censorship. So people won't be silenced for their different viewpoints. So how can we use SUBSOCIAL to provide a Web 2 onboarding experience for Web 3 communities? So that's what we're doing with Grill Chat. Very easy to use decentralized chat. It's mobile friendly because we've engineered it in a way where you don't need any tokens or extensions, which is very nice. If we're trying to onboard 1 billion users to Web3, if they have to download a wallet and set up a seed phrase and all of this, most people aren't going to do that. My grandma is definitely not going to. But she can use Grill Chat, and she can do it from her phone. She doesn't have to go download an app like a MetaMask wallet on her phone either. You can just use the native mobile browser. So you just connect to Grill Chat, you send a message, it generates an account for you, and that account is stored in the browser's local storage. And if you want to, you can connect one of your wallets to add some additional features. But it's really easy and fast to integrate Grill Chat. So we already have a little widget that you can add to your website. It's sort of a pop-up window in the corner. We have a couple websites that have already added that, such as Polka Assembly and the Zeitgeist app, along with SubID and Polkadot Study. And perhaps most importantly, it's totally free for the end users. So the applications are basically sponsoring all of the transactions for their users. So you don't have to get any tokens. It's a really big hurdle, and if you're trying to use a new project, you have to go get the token first. We've basically gotten rid of that. So why is Substrate so powerful for Web3 social? Well, it allows us to do a lot of stuff. As you can see here in this image, we have SUBSOCIAL at the bottom, and we're also working with other parachains such as Crust Network to handle storage. And then we have the main SUBSOCIAL tech stack in the middle with our SDK, indexers, IPFS for file storage, etc. And all of this powers applications. So Grill Chat, and then every other application is integrated Grill Chat as well. And this can scale up to 10,000 apps or more. It allows real-time interactions and openly accessible social graphs. So anyone can just go build an application and access all of the social data. If you compare that to Facebook or Twitter, where it's really closed because their business model depends on that data. Lots of social monetization features, subscriptions, donations, NFT gating, this sort of thing. And we have a playground for really easy developer experiments for building cool new applications. So SUBSOCIAL is designed for social use cases from the ground up. You can compare this to other, there's social platforms on Ethereum, but Ethereum is not designed for social use cases, so there's a lot of drawbacks to that. And with SUBSOCIAL, we're basically focusing on building social primitives such as usernames, posts, comments, reactions, etc. And then making it easier for developers to leverage those to build cool applications. We also have additional things built on top of that, such as our energy system and our off-chain signer system, which are basically how we provide these Web2 UX solutions. So users don't need a wallet, they don't need tokens, they can just use social features in applications. So we believe this is a better social UX, and it is really only possible on Polkadot because of the technology that Substrate provides us. So a really cool thing with this technology is you can have one discourse or one chat, one discussion across many different clients. You can actually see this today, as I mentioned earlier, that the Zeitgeist app has already integrated our Grill Chat plugin. So we have a Zeitgeist chat room, and you can access it from the Zeitgeist app or the Grill Chat app, or also from SubID. So there's 3 different user interfaces, but it's all the same chat. So this could be expanded to, you could have comments on an NFT, and you could have 2 or 3 different NFT marketplaces that all have that NFT listed, but you would have one discussion, even though you can see it on all the different websites. So this is great. It lets users be able to choose, what user interface they want to use, which website has a better user experience, but they're not missing out on any discussion. Nothing's being fragmented. Versus there's some people that use Facebook or they use Twitter because they like the user experience and the user interface better. But users on Twitter cannot interact with users on Facebook because they're separated. So this basically unifies everything together. And creating high quality social apps is pretty difficult. Making a good UX is very challenging. There's a lot of things that go into that, as well as implementing moderation. Trying to make it mobile friendly is a big deal, or building a whole app all for that. So basically, we're solving all of this for you, and then you as a developer can just focus on making cool stuff. So Grill Chat is basically a high-level platform for creating social applications. You can easily get started with it. We have the extensions functionality. You can kind of think of this as like extensions on your web browser. You can easily add them, easy to develop, and they just add additional functionality. So here we can see an example of a donation extension that allows people to donate on EVM chains. So as long as someone has their EVM account linked to their Grill account, you can send them some USDT or USDC, Polygon or Ethereum. We have a lot of Web3 features and productions. We already have NFT integrations. So you can link NFTs from a couple popular websites, such as Spacer NFTs here. Donations, as I mentioned, and ENS identities. We're working on adding Substrate wallet connections as well, which will open up a lot of possibilities in the ecosystem. And, lots of other possible extensions, working on community hubs, context menus. I believe last week at FCC, Stanny, the founder of Lens, talked about something similar to context menus, where basically any application can link into the chat, and you can have a button for, for example, you could do DeFi swaps directly in the chat, which would be pretty cool. So how are we using blockchain to grow the ecosystem? Right now, we're working on a create to earn system. Is inspired by Astar's dApp staking system, but we've taken it and expanded it to also include content creators or community creators, as those are extra important when building a social network. So I believe the code for this is in review right now, and then we'll be testing it, but it should be out pretty soon. So if you're a dApp developer or a content creator, keep an eye out for this. And I believe we're working on some interesting ways to make it not something where it's set and forget, but where you have to actively engage to stay staked, basically. So we're really confident that this will provide some good growth with the network. So that's all we've got, and we'll see you at the Grill. You can find that at grill.chat is the URL. If you're curious to know more about Subsocial, subsocial.network is our address. You can go to subsocial.network/links to get all of our links for social channels, etc.
That was amazing. Thank you. I think that SUBSOCIal is improving. A lot of applications in Web2 like Twitter, Instagram, and bringing them to the Web3 world through decentralized technology. So now I have a question for you, Young Beef. It's about where do you see SUBSOCIAL in 2 or 3 years? Can you make a prediction, some stuff there going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we will continue to improve on our user experience features, but the main thing will be trying to integrate social features into as many applications as possible. I mean, right now, most, if you think about like what Web 2 apps do you use most, they're pretty much all social applications at the heart of it. But a lot of Web 3 applications don't have any social features. We think that needs to change. And from a business perspective, adding social features is a big plus. It improves retention and user engagement. And we're always talking about the Web3 ethos, but then if I go to a new project and then I want to join the community, I have to go on Discord or Telegram. It seems a little weird. So we're basically going to be working on moving communities on chain, communication on chain, unifying communication, and sort of adding social features to every application, and then really building a lot of social primitives to enable really cool social use cases that are not possible in Web 2.
And now, just the most value of SUBSOCIAL, the feature that adds the most value, an interesting feature to SUBSOCIAL.
As far as the most value, it's the ability to own your content. That's basically the defining difference between Web3 social and Web 2. Because that right there will prevent all of the problems that we see with Web 2. But the coolest feature is probably, my favorite right now at least, is that you can use Grill Chat and just be totally anonymous, and you can just make a new account. So I'll go through 3 or 4 different accounts a day just to make sure I stay totally anonymous. But of course, if you want to link your identity, you can. But I think for things like governance discussion and stuff like that, being able to remain totally anonymous will be a nice feature.
That's perfect. And now the final question of the stage. Why to build on Polkadot? It's the same question I make to Nino. Why is Polkadot so important for SUBSOCIAL and for the Web3 world?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went over it a bit in the presentation, but I guess I'll get a 2-part answer. The sort of the origin story with SUBSOCIAL was our founder Alex was at Sub-Zero, I think, in 2018, and Gavin Wood basically took a brand new laptop and within 30 minutes of opening the package had already set up a blockchain and had a chain running using Substrate. And so Alex thought, like, wow, this is really powerful, so we need to use that. And it's true, Substrate is really good for building blockchains, especially building a custom chain for social use cases like we're doing. It allows you to build a lot of cool stuff. So that's sort of why Substrate, which is related to Polkadot, but specifically why Polkadot, my classic answer is it gives us the best of both worlds. If we look at other Web3 social projects, we can look at the originals like Steemit and Hive from 8 years ago. They were built with their own blockchains. They're sort of custom built for social use cases, but they're totally isolated. So if you want to interact with DeFi or anything else in the ecosystem, you have to use a bridge. We all know bridges are expensive, slow, they get hacked all the time. It's not really a great solution. Versus we can look at other things like Lens recently being built on Polygon. So that is part of an ecosystem. You don't have to use a bridge or anything, but it's built on top of a general chain. So there's a lot of stuff that they're limited, they can't do because they don't actually control how the blockchain is built. And they're also competing with lots of other applications, so you can have some NFT mint that's super hype and the gas skyrockets and all of a sudden no one can make a post or like a comment. So that's not really optimal either. So SUBSOCIAL, we get the best of both worlds. We have a custom built blockchain. It's just used for social. We're not competing with anything else. But we're also part of an ecosystem without having to use bridges.
So perfect. Thank you so much, Young Beef, for being with us today. It was a pleasure. I clap for you. So thank you. And now we are going to jump into our next interview. Thank you, Young Beef. Another time. Let's So thanks to our SUBSOCIal team and to all the dedicated staff for the Web3 world with SUBSOCIal. Now we're going to jump into a really interesting interview. Let's jump into Kathy. How are you? Welcome to the States from VARA.
Hello. It was a little bit unexpected. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
So I'm fine, perfect, and you?
Fine, thank you. So it's a pleasure to have VARA with us today in the week event. So now you can start sharing your screen if you want, and our team will display it in the event, and you can start sharing us what is VARA and what you're building with your team.
Sure, I would love to. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to have this opportunity to be here. And so let's start.
Okay, perfect. Okay, there we have it. So now it's your turn to present VARA. I'm going to disappear, so the stage is totally yours. Kathy, thanks for being with us another time, and see you.
So today I will be talking about VARA network. First of all, let's start with some of the basics. What is VARA? VARA is a layer 1 blockchain which has asynchronous logic in its smart contract. It's based on substrate and gear protocol. Here I will stop for a second because I imagine all here know about the substrate because like Polkadot and Dotsama are substrate based, and we are also substrate based. And probably here people don't know what is gear protocol. So gear protocol is a technology, but it has been built by us, which includes like which is based on 3 pillars. Some of them go from like the mathematical concept, which are actor model and consistent memory, and also it's Watson based, so it's our like basics. And I will tell about it later a bit, like I will dive deeper there. And in our Adventures of VARA is like the block closes every 3 seconds. And yes, of course, it's community governed, and it's optimized for new features. You know. So, as I previously said, your protocol is based on 3 pillars: actor model, Watson, and persistent memory. And now we're gonna dive deeper. Basically, now we all know that all of the, let's say, modern blockchains are Watson based. And Watson actually is just a binary code that has a really, really fast speed of the execution. So the thing is, like EVM, which is usually previously was used as a virtual machine. Now, like the modern blockchains, they use Watson as a virtual machine. And in case of EVM, oh, something happened. Oh no, it's fine. Sorry. So in case of EVM, there is one language which is used as Solidity, and in case of Watson, it's language independent. So basically, basically any language which is compatible with Watson can be used. And for now, we support Rust and assembly script. And later on, more languages will be compilable. So the next step is actor model. So what is the actor model? Probably some of you guys know it from the mathematics, and this goes from this concept goes from the computer science, and it allows you parallel computations. So here we have a very simple thing. Like in case of gear, every smart contract is an actor, and every program is an actor. And the thing is that actors, they don't share their state. And why is it important? Because it brings you extra security. while exchanging messages. And this model actually fits into Polkadot ecosystem, as it's also asynchronous. The next step is persistent memory. So the thing is, this persistent memory is like you can imagine, guys. I'm not sure if it's in all of the blockchains, but I'm sure in most of the blockchains there is a concept of shared memory. Shared memory, it means like you have, let's say, like a cloud, and everything is stored in the cloud. In our case, every program has local storage. So all programs are stored at once, and the developer is working with local memory. So it basically makes easier for the developers, like from Web2 world, to work in the familiar environment. And we also have a concept which is called lazy pages. Basically, it means you all work with the only necessary memory pages while you execute the program. So it's this way everything works faster. So about our use case, there could be a lot of use cases, like really a lot. Now, our idea to concentrate on gaming. Why? Because, like I previously mentioned, every block in VARA is produced every 3 seconds, and for gaming, it's like a super cool feature, as it will be much easier to play the games that are strategies and needs like a step-by-step, like when you have to do steps at the same time, and so you don't have to wait a lot of time when the block flows and everything. Um, so all our features I mentioned before, we also allow more complex NFTs. I think you guys know the concept of dynamic NFTs. Basically, they could be like, for example, we have one of the examples is the Tamagotchi, and it can change like a mood, size, or color, or whatever. It can be changing like due to, I don't know, some of the weather, for example, whatever. So it's kind of a cool thing. Um, so as I previously said about gaming, so my favorite example is Heroes of Might and Magic. I think you guys know it because when I was young, I was playing this game. So it's a strategy game, step-by-step game. So with our features, like the parallel messaging and everything, uh, it can allow you like to flow gameplay. And also, we have a special, like an interface, which is called Idea Portal, where you can test our platform. So basically, you go to the portal, and you can, on our wiki, we have various smart contract examples. If I don't mistake, we're like nearly 40. And you can try them out, you can play with the code, you can change them, you can just deploy the contract and stuff. So the interface is really easy. And as you can see, like you can upload the program, upload codes and message and stuff. So if you want to try it out, you're welcome. And here are some of the projects that already integrate into that, and I believe we have much more now. And as you see, they are, I believe, they all familiar to you. And if you want to learn more about this, we have various articles from our media. And another important thing, we are running now an online hackathon which lasts 7 months. Now we are on the season 2, so guys, if there is developers among the listeners, you are more welcome to join. So please send the QR code, learn more information about it, and we will be happy to see your ideas. Here we have various links, like I was previously mentioned the smart contract examples, our GitHub, we have a Twitter for Dear Protocol, we have our Twitter, Discord, our webpage. So just make a picture, a screenshot, and you are more than welcome to become part of our community. And for those who have been listening to me over this time, there is a little present, an NFT. So guys, just make a screenshot. It's really easy to use. You just, you just need to scan the QR code. It will, you will go to a Telegram bot. The Telegram bot, there you will have to put your subscribe address, and you will receive your NFT for the participation. So thanks a lot. And I was really glad to be here. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Perfect. So thank you a lot for your presentation, Katy. That was amazing to know about smart contracts, to know about VARA technology and GR also. And that was really amazing. Now I have a question for you. It's a question that I make to SUBSOCIAL also. Is where do you see VARA and GR in 1 and 2 years? What is the future of VARA? You can give some spoiler. Yeah.
No spoilers here, guys. It's just you just have to follow our social media and the future. I don't know the future, not a medium or something. Just keep keep an eye on our announcements. No
That's
spoilers.
perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. And now the question that I make to all the projects is why to build on Polkadot and not in other chains? What makes Polkadot different?
Well, there is no such network as Polkadot currently. So the idea is unique, and that's why the Polkadot has a big community for a reason. So, and as you know, I believe you already saw Gavin's speech, the latest one on Decoder. So, like, there is a bright future that expects Polkadot, I believe so. They have really great ideas, so let's see how it goes.
That's super cool. So thank you, Katy, for being with us. It was a really amazing explanation. So now we are going to jump into another interview. Thank you, Katy, for being with us, and goodbye. Now we are going to introduce to one of the biggest Japanese companies in the Web3 world. Welcome to the States, Rams. How are you? Hope you can listen me. Hello, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me here.
Welcome. So it's a pleasure to have Astar with us, and a really big company right now, making some great agreements with Japan and technology business. So I think that you can explain better than me. So welcome to the States. You can start presenting your screen or whatever you want.
Perfect.
Our team will display on the show.
Perfect. Okay, let me get the slides going. Thanks again for having me here. Here we go.
For sure. Perfect. There we go. So now I'm going to disappear. The stage is totally yours, and yeah, let's start building.
Perfect. Thanks again. So I'm Rams. I'm part of the community growth leadership team and BizDev. So I'm here to explain Astar Network. It's a smart contract platform. It's an L1 for the multi-chain future, basically saying we want to be the spot where all the developers come for smart contracts. So a little bit about Astar. It's built on top of the layer 0 Polkadot, and we are offering support for DApps, the support of building DApps for EVM and WASM smart contracts. So we want to get the true interoperability between these two types of smart contracts as well, with the technology that exists here at Polkadot, XCM, and some of the technology that we're bringing called XVM, and a little bit more about that later as well. So we'll cover 4 major spots today: the problem that we're seeing today in blockchain, what we need to do. Of course, one of our focuses is Japan, and a little bit of a conclusion of where we're moving forward and what Astar 2.0 is. The problem. So we're seeing today that the concept of multi-chain is just to copy and paste Solidity contracts, what we see in Ethereum on mainnet, on other EVM chains. So we all know that there exist other L1s and L2s, and then maybe even L3s there's talks about, or if not already exist. But a lot of this is just copying and pasting what we already see, just on different layers for different reasons: transaction speed, transaction cost, etc. So as a result, there are a lot of silos. This makes UX difficult for users through smart contracts are perfect. So we're seeing these little bubbles of basically communities and technology. And so we want to change that. So problem 2, EVM has a lot of limitations. Some major L1s don't even support EVM as a solution anymore. EVM, Ethereum, is an old technology. So a lot of technology gets replaced. As it gets older, new things come out, better technology comes out, and we're hoping to, show the world that using Polkadot and using our platform, our L1, you could have better technology. 8 years is old for a tech, for sure. And we could see some of the limitations it has already, how long it takes to upgrade, for example, and so on. Problem 3, devs are paying the cost to develop and maintain the apps. So it costs a lot to create a product on top of blockchain. There's a lot to be considered. Some developers are probably not as deep pocketed as other teams. So this is a problem we're seeing. How do you maintain a product that you create for the users? So what we need. So there's 4 solutions on Astar Network: the Polkadot cross-chain messaging concept, also the build to earn, WebAssembly smart contracts, and then interoperability between the smart contract environments. Right now, the main smart contract development is EVM, the most popular one, but we're also bringing the WASM smart contracts that let developers explore other languages to create their smart contracts. So true interoperability for multi-chain with trustless bridges. So we really want to go the route where we're having a connection with other chains without the need for bridges. So we see bridges being hacked. We see millions of dollars a year being lost to vulnerabilities on these bridges. So we're looking for ways to be interoperable in a trustless manner. So DApp staking is also one of the methods we're incorporating and have been using for quite a while. So about 3 years ago, Astar created it, and it's a way for developers to basically create a basic income for themselves, for the team, for the project. So developers can launch their product on Astar, can be listed as a DApp officially on our portal, on our basically web page, our interface, and then users could stake their Astar tokens onto these projects. The more tokens that are staked on the project, the higher the rewards. So investors, community members, anybody really can take their Astar tokens and basically invest in a project or support it by staking on them. And that's what we have 41 DApps right now that are under this process. It's called Build to Earn, and they are incentivized to continue to add features, to innovate, and that way they attract more community members and stake on their product, on their DApp. So this has allowed for teams to basically grow their product as well and survive off the rewards. We don't need staking to secure the network because the Polkadot relay chain, the layer 0, does that for Astar. So instead we took staking and using it as a way to pay developers. This has worked out well so far, and now we have an initiative called the Unstoppable Community Grants for small teams where we bootstrapped your DApp. That means that we take funds from the treasury, from the community treasury, and we stake it on your DApp if it's approved by the community. If they like the pitch, if they like the proposal, and this way you could have a start, a bootstrap, basically, but with rewards that are generating to create your product on Astar. So this is our form of grants here at Astar Network. And it's in a way a unique grant because it's a trickle-down grant, a faucet grant, basically, as you build. So at Astar, we also having the realization of a developer-centric platform. So this developer-centric platform, we need to have all the tools for the developers that come from many different backgrounds. So we also have 2 virtual machines to supplement this platform for developers. That means we have EVM compatible and WASM compatible at the same time, and we're making them interoperable. That means that even if you come from Ethereum or you come from other backgrounds where you know Rust and other blockchains that Rust is used perhaps, then you can start learning and start using our platform to create your smart contracts and your products. But at the same time, we want it to be compatible with users who probably aren't used to. So we're creating basically a all-in-one system, an all-in-one platform where you could use, the unique wallets that we have here, the great teams at Subwallet and Talisman and Nova. You could use MetaMask, you could use whichever and interact whichever side you want, EVM or WASM. So that process is right now under construction. It should be available soon. And we're unifying this account basically. So any user from anywhere, mainly from EVM or WASM, can use our product and interact with Astar, whichever machine they want to build with. So this allows us also to help bring Web3 to Web2 by making it easier to interact with blockchain, create on our blockchain, and hopefully help these developers create the new products of the future. And one of the main focuses right now is Japan. Of course, it's not our only focus. We have roots in Japan, where Astar Network, the founder, Sota Watanabe, basically created the idea and went with it about 4 years ago. It was previously called Plasm. Now it's called Astar. So in Japan, the Japanese Blockchain Association has voted Astar as the most popular blockchain in Japan. And there's many reasons why we say it's backed by Japan. We have connections with the government, part of major forums and groups with Web3 companies and Web2 companies as well, and enterprise companies. So we are growing rapidly there. Day by day, there's always new connections made, and the biz dev who are working there on the ground are also bringing these products and helping bring new products to Astar. Last year, we saw Japanese IPs, famous ones like the Final Fantasy artist Yoshitaka Amano, create his first NFT project on Astar, Candy Girl. This is, we considered it one of the major accomplishments as we onboard more Japanese IPs to Astar and just to blockchain in general. So we're looking forward to many more artists from all different backgrounds to come to Astar and use the blockchain for their products. We had a hackathon with Toyota, and they wanted to see products around DAO tooling. We had 430 registered participants, and this was in partnership with Polkadot, Web3 Foundation, Alchemy, and Hakuhoro Key 3, which is a big group in Japan, also reaching out to companies and helping them onboard to Astar and just with blockchain technology. So these types of enterprise level, workings and deals are helping basically, first of all, in the eyes of the public in Japan as well as the world, see that Astar is a major player and can work with the top 10 companies in Japan, and Toyota being one of the largest in the world. There's a lot of potential there and a lot of concepts that are being developed with blockchain tech. And most recently, we had a Sony and Astar incubation program where 18 teams were selected over, and it was over 200 applications, not 80, that applied. And we saw them create and launch their product on Astar and demo it in the demo day in Japan. So this was a great success, and those products that were highlighted are now developing even more features on top of Astar. So this, again, is another way where we're working with businesses, you can even call them tier one businesses, to create products and showcase what Astar can do. So the conclusion here is that besides the technology that we're trying to make more suited and more apt for all types of developers, we're also know there's a push that we need to have in the business section. So Astar has a two-way approach to how they deal in the space. Create good technology and using Polkadot as well as our security layer, and then also create good business partnerships. So using those two factors, very simply, we will start seeing adoption, and we have been seeing a lot of adoption. Creating these examples also may influence other companies and other projects to use Astar. Some of the examples we have right now on how Astar is being used by businesses, the number one snacking company in Japan called Calbee is using them in their products, is using Astar to basically be the blockchain for their NFTs that are scanned from their potato chip bags, for example. Another more recent example was photo booths. The photo booths that are typical in the Asian region, as well as for myself here, I see them in the West Coast where I live. You could create these photos with your friends and then not only print them, but also create an NFT from them. Toyota and Sony seeking ways where what kind of products can come out, whether it's styles, NFTs, gaming, etc. There's even e-commerce projects that are using Astar. We have train companies that in Japan is using Astar Network for their proof of concept, which is using NFTs to reward their riders. So there's definitely more, and there are more to come. And we're happy to see that developers are choosing Astar, whether it's EVM or WASM, and building the tools of tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ram, for the presentation. That was really, really good, I have to say. Really deep into what is Astor. And yeah, I think that all our listeners will be really cool. We are going to see you sometimes this week, Rams, with Astor Distance, with Astor in Spanish. So we are excited for that. Thank you for coming, for sure, and to the Astor team. Uh, and now we are running out of time, Ram. So I'm
Sure.
going to jump into the next one. Thank you for sure.
Okay. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to jump into one of the Sora builders. Welcome, Marco, to the stage. How are you?
Hi,
How are
buddy.
you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, you have been in the first edition of the week event, and now you're in the second one.
Yeah.
This one
It's nice to be here again. Yeah.
this one we improve a little bit. Welcome to the stage. We are going to start sharing the CERES tool. I have it here. Perfect. So okay, then you have the website of CERES, and now you can start talking us about CERES and what is this project on Sora Network. And for sure, thanks a lot for the support to the week event. And now I'm going to disappear, and the stage is totally yours.
All right. Thanks very much again. So yeah, let's start to talk about CERES. CERES is main token of our ecosystem. It's a Zora native token actually. So we started to build like 2 years ago DeFi security tools on a Zora network. Our first product was liquidity locker and token locker, which users can pay fees with the CERES tokens. Also, in last 2 years, we launched probably first launchpad in a substrate, which is on a Zora network as well. Also, we integrated liquidity locker and token locker on Astar network too. CERES holders in last 2 years got Demeter and Hermes airdrop. Next year, probably, I wouldn't say this, but next year for sure, in first quarter, going to be a third airdrop. That's the APILLON. Also, we launch first Web3 game in Substrate. That's the Arena. Utility token of the Arena is the Meter token, our second airdrop, and pretty cool farming platform. That's the actually platform as a service, which is also the Meter utility token. And yeah, a few months ago, we launched a first decentralized investment fund, Hermes DAO. Our plan in the future is definitely hello.
Yeah. No, perfect. There was a
DeFi. Can you hear me now?
yeah. Let me maybe refresh your connection. Now, hello.
Is that okay now?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, our plan in the future is integrate our DeFi services in other parachains. First of all, liquidity locker and token locker. And yeah, like that's a short version of what we did. Yeah, and of course, the last thing which we built is CERES tools. Actually, that's what we upgraded, and we had many interesting features. supported by Zara community. So thanks again to Zara community who gave to us huge support. And yeah, that's the, as I said, the short version what we are building and what we built last 2 years.
That's perfect. So now if you want to talk about the business behind CERES blockchain solution, what you're building, we see you in Belgrade, I think, in the Polkadot of Belgrade, so that's cool. I'm going to start sharing with the CERES blockchain solution that we have it here. Perfect. There we go. There we go. So
yeah, basically let's say last few months we spent a lot of time on networking, and our team was on a few let's say crypto Polkadot events. The guys were a few weeks ago in Copenhagen, where was Polkadot Arcade. They were, after that event, they were super bullish. I wasn't there because I was with my family, but yeah, they were super bullish about Polkadot ecosystem and what is coming. So let's say our future in Polkadot is quite bright. Yeah, we were on a blockchain event in Belgrade, actually on 2 of them, and also in Block Split, which was in Croatia. So yeah, now we are we want to build for other Polkadot projects as well. We are in contact with some of them, but I still can't talk about it. But yeah, that's the another part of our business, and yeah, we definitely want to stay on Polkadot and continue to build on Polkadot with CERES as a crypto project, but also with CERES as a blockchain solution.
So that's amazing. Thank you. Let's kick off this. Perfect. So now I'm going to ask you a very interesting question, Marco. It's why to build on Substrate or in Polkadot and not in other chain, like for example Ethereum.
Yeah, like first of all, especially for small and young team, like let's say we were, but we are still quite small. Yeah, it's easier to get attention from community. You know, in a Polkadot, on Ethereum, you have like, let's say 10 new projects daily. On a Polkadot, it's not that situation, so it's quite easier to show yourself to other people. Also, Substrate has technically many interesting and different things. Like, for example, on our DeFi platform, LP providers hold their LPs. So basically, they are not sending to us. They can get rewards, but they are still owner of LPs. So that's the quite big thing if we're talking about the DeFi security, which is probably the biggest problem in crypto space. And like, you know, when you build something on a Substrate, that's really your product at the moment. Of course, maybe you can copy some code, but it's not like on Ethereum or other EVM networks, because they're, you know, not all of team, but it's a big percentage of team who are just using other codes, small changes, and now we have a product here. You're really starting to build from the beginning. For, let's say, for real devs, for guys who really like technology and who really want to educate yourself, that's the big thing. Also, fees, transactions, and other things are better on Polkadot. And Polkadot basically just started. On Ethereum, by my opinion, we've seen already main things on Polkadot that is coming in following years. So yeah, definitely, I think for teams, Polkadot is a way better option.
That's perfect. And now you say that the team started to start building on Soga Network. So why you decide to build on Soga Network? What makes Soga Network special?
Basically, our CIO was very active member in Zora community since, let's say, first day. All right, it was not first day for real, but he was there very, very early, and he was a Zora fan. And then when we made a team and found all guys, all of us were like Polkadot fans. All right, we wanted to build something on a Polkadot, and then we were thinking where, how, what to do, and then he said, Philip said, like, look guys, what do you think about the Zora? I said, look, why not? They, on that period, they just launched PolkaSwap, which is, by my opinion, the best DEX in Polkadot ecosystem. So yeah, and then we said, look, why not? And yeah, after 2 years, we have a bunch of dApps on Zora, CERES tools, and we keep building.
That's a really cool story. So that now the last question, it's where do you see you, Marco, as Marco, as Marcoto, where do you see the CERES blockchain solution in 2 years?
In 2 years.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If you say like 5 years would be easier to answer, because I'm pretty sure in the following 5 years we're gonna see many bullish things on a Polkadot. But 2 years, hopefully gonna be something good. Like because I think it's not just up to Polkadot. It's about all crypto and the global market and economy. But in 2 years, like I think we'll see one more dApp for sure on a Zora network. We'll see integration of token locker, liquidity locker, and launchpad on other Polkadot parachains, and maybe some new projects. And hopefully, when a bull market comes back, we'll see many users on CERES Launchpad. That's, I think, the maybe even beside the meter farming platform, that's the biggest value of CERES team and the CERES as a project.
That's amazing. You also have relation with Astar Network. We before you we interview Rams from Astar.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us about a little bit about this build to earn program.
Yeah, we actually just joined it maybe a month ago, a few weeks ago, to build in our program. It's a good idea, interesting idea. We got support from Astar community, so thanks to them as well. In the future, we definitely going to build something on Astar as well. Our team is growing, so we have a few new guys, and some of them like Astar. So yeah, definitely going to be very interesting to build something in VASM. EVM, it's not very interesting for us. It's easier, but you know, it's not interesting for our devs. So yeah, definitely in the future, probably even next year, we're gonna build something in VASM on Astar.
Perfect. So now, thank you, Marco, for being with us, and to all the CERES team to support us to the week event, to Coin Reference as well. For the beginning. And we will send to the chat to our listeners a few questions about CERES that is sponsored the event and give away some CERES tokens. So if you answer the question correct, you will receive some CERES token from CERES blockchain solution. So thank you, Marco, for being with us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Hopefully see you next year again.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, let's hope the week event 2 goes well. For now, it's going well, and let's see you in the week event 3, Marco.
Thanks so much, man, and see you again. Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy. Bye.
Okay, so now, thanks to all our listeners, it was an exciting first day of the week event. We are delighted to introduce to you the second day of the week event that will be tomorrow with exciting projects and exciting, interesting opportunities to you to learn and ask to present to you and all the projects for sure. So thank you so much for listening today. It was a pleasure to be your host. I'm Adrian, CEO of Coin Reference, and let's keep building, guys. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.